Hi, everyone.
Hello. We have made a game. So our idea for our game was to have sort of like a cyberpunk murder mystery esque dealio. For our three areas, we decided that we'd have different sort of stages of nature, etc. So our first stage was trying to be as city as possible with lots of like competing light sources and very bright lights that are trying to pierce the veil of fog that we have going on. And as we sort of travel up the hill, a lot of the competing light becomes sort of more monotone into like or harmonious and collaborative lighting rather than competitive lighting. Uh, and we get to explore an area that's sort of been abandoned by, or that looks like it's been sort of left behind by the rest of the world around it.
We have like over 50 assets made, although some of them didn't make it into the game because of having better options in terms of foliage and like lily pads.
Yeah.
Although we have three different models for bamboo sticks, we use some from Quixel as well to fill more empty space, but mainly we use the ones made by us because they pop out, more obvious.
Um, yeah. The idea coming up this area is that we would give the player hints to the murderer as they sort of explore and try and chase after this character. Um, as you come to each sort of uh, turning at the staircases, the idea was that we would try and have something different to look at. It was almost like a mini area in of itself, uh, so that the player can really look around. And the idea would be that we would use sort of clues to the murderer's identity as a way of forcing the player to look around.
Each area will have like a mini checkpoint, and you would have, I don't know, an interaction to it. But again, that's design related stuff.
We were a team of only 3D animation, so we had to learn Unreal from the ground. So there was a limit to what we could realistically do in our time frame because of just not having certain skill sets that had to just be learned in a really quick period of time. Which is why Darius' primary job was to make sure that he knew Unreal and that he could put stuff into it and make it look good for us.
The only big problem would be obvious popping of the foliage, depending on how far you walk from it or how close you get to it. Also, performance related stuff. There's not much on that side of things because I don't have time to like I don't have time to look more into that, and I think it's more under the hood
Yeah.
settings
So
than anything else.
we have the Tory gates, and they're kind of supposed to. We placed them in areas that kind of signify transitions. So your first Tory gate is like the start of the second area, and the second Tory gate you see is the start of the third area. And this is really where um, we kind of tried to make a very serene environment. It's very calm, and all the sort of hints of the world outside of the shrine, it doesn't overtake. Whereas if you, especially as you're walking up, you can still see the city trying to sort of inhabit the other environments, whereas area is very calm and very serene. So you can see in this building where all this blood is that this likely would have been where you would see the body of the assailant who murdered the person that you would have seen at the beginning of the level. Put a bit of a stupid Easter egg in where you can see the Unreal robot that you could walk around as. And Darius put some red lights on him.
Yeah, just quick Easter egg. If we had more time, I would
Yeah.
have probably added a rig to the doors, see how I would implement that into Ariel and have them sliding so you can get inside. But that's a whole other
Extra
thing.
work.
Also, this is a quick walk back
Yeah.
to the level.
So you possibly can see things that you might not have thought first time up. You can definitely see like the scale of the build, especially the mega building that I designed. The idea was that the like, although we had limited time, the idea was these buildings would be really like infectious and just sort of completely take over the area. But we didn't really know how to design terrain in Unreal and stuff, so we ended up with a more hilly terrain than intended. So it was a bit hard to go like strewing buildings around everywhere. Plus, it would have eaten performance up.
Yeah, I didn't have time to like design the area around, so I just stopped some mountains in the background. I didn't manage to get 2D trees or like cherry trees in the level because even exporting them from Maya's library due to the way they got exported, it was really weird, and I really didn't like them at all. Uh, and plus, it would require quite a lot of time to make them manually.
A great amount of our effort definitely went into the city area. We tried to make it feel as dense as possible given like limited time. So we have like towering buildings, there's assets everywhere, coffee cans, you've got the vending machines, there's graffiti on some of the buildings, there's trash on the floor. We really tried to make it feel um as alive as possible in the places that you really like can lurk. And we've kind of, as you can see now, we're sort of like walking outside of the intended bounding box. So the player would only be allowed to just like walk a certain area that this is you wouldn't really be able to see, but we thought it'd be cool that you show how like we've designed the area and stuff. And we
Yeah, you
used,
can see the collision on the
yeah,
streets is not.
like
I didn't
perfect.
have time to fix that since
Yeah.
it was not a playable area anyway.
Yeah. So we use the fog in part also to hide some of like the warts of our level. So like the fog kind of limits how far the player can travel. And as you can see, when we have our lighter environment, that where we've removed a lot of the fog and extra processing effects that we have that sort of hide some of the elements of the level. See that you know obviously there's some broken lighting because we just destroyed the lighting so that you could see everything a bit better. Um, as you can see, we've tried to make it so that uh, we don't have to worry so much about it can being a completely fleshed out area, and we've taken advantage of some like post effects to try and hide some of like the flaws of our environment. You can see like trash around and stuff a bit better. You can see some of the details in our buildings and stuff. Like for a good example is you can't really see the wires hanging from the mega block that you'll just see right now. But like obviously in this lighter environment, you can see these all there. Ironically, I think the mega block's a bit more terrifying and daunting when you see it in light than dark because you can see everything and it just really dominates. But yeah, you can see the Torii Gate. We have obviously see how the amazing texture job that Joanna did on like the stone work and stuff.
Yeah, here we take a closer look at the foliage and the terrain over here,
Yeah.
the
So
garden area.
yeah, as the player would be coming up these stairs in like the perfect world, we would have clues. The idea being that the robot would be dressed as a human almost, and as you come up the stairs, clothes would be strewn as you go up. Um, in a way to try and subvert expectations, like like people are going to assume that you're going to see some naked dude at the top of the shrine, only to find like a robot that's sort of like losing its humanity as it goes to a more like natural environment sort of thing. Um, so yeah, we would like the idea would be that we can use the assets that we made to sort of like possibly force the player to investigate and maybe even like in an ideal world if we had more time we could have possibly like better outcomes or something if you do a better job investigating, but we weren't really able to spitball that kind of stuff that much and experiment because we had to spend a lot of time learning this tool set, especially Darius.
Also, again, one of the biggest issues was performance, so
Yeah,
that's why in the background there's not much, like in the distance, there's not much foliage present because of how heavy they can be on performance, even after building the lights or something. Because I've not figured a way out to make them lighter,
yeah.
even with the lowest
As you can
amount
see,
of
as you can see now, we're
mesh.
just letting you see areas that you wouldn't really, we wouldn't have want like if the game was built fully, you wouldn't the player wouldn't be able to go to, but sort of like you can see, we were just showing now so that you can get a better idea of the amount of detail and effort that our team has put into some of the visuals in this level, which is just utterly fantastic. Yeah, so obviously we designed like a river, and there's the whole bridge. It's a lot of blood. I didn't realize how much blood we had. Uh, so yeah, obviously we've got like the sword that one of our team members designed. Almost every asset that you see was built by us, apart from some foliage and I think the
And
walls here.
a few pixel stuff like
Yeah,
the walls on the side and the blood decals.
yeah. But most of the stuff
And
that was built.
the stairway, I did get to building a stairway at the beginning of the project, but it was taking quite a lot of time to get into that kind of detail
Yeah,
as this one. Plus, would have required spending time in ZBrush as well. So it was choosing what to do in order to save time of in order to have as many assets as we can.
yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much.
Please don't make us do this again.